Okay, so following on from actually isolating the target here and looking at making pressure, then what I have now is what I call like the 3 stages of actually making sufficient pressure to be able to Achilles lock anybody. As I mentioned before, some people like Helen have like this crazy flexibility, they have actual hypermobility. So I need something that's still going to be able to work. Okay. Now, the first stage is kind of where most people would tap. The second stage gets onto people that are that little bit harder. The third stage is kind of for people that do have real flexibility about them. Questions I've been asked whenever we do the leg lock seminars is, why don't you always go to a stage 3? And quite simply the answer is the potential for injury going straight to that kind of depth of pressure is quite, I would say it's quite a lot. So we start with this first pressure here, and then we're going to work our way through the different stages. Okay, so I'm not just going to dive straight into something that could potentially hurt my partner. I feel that you should be able to work any leg locks at all, whatever it may be. You can roll with people, you can compete, and you get it just right. You don't need to hurt people. Okay, you can still get the submission. It doesn't need to cripple people. So working from this kind of position here, where everything's in place, got everything wrapped in, I've caught the toes. Okay, so my stage 1 is just literally this position here, where I've got the weight on my elbow, I've got my hands together. If you want to go like Sambo style, I can start wrapping things up this way. I can go like with a high elbow, almost like a guillotine. Okay, whichever way is fine, it's down to your preference. So I'm in this position here. So by curling everything in, closing the gap, active hook, hips forward, looking out the top of my head. At this point, a lot of people will submit. It's a lot of pressure. Okay. However, if they don't, what I'm going to look to do, I'm going to look to take my elbow away and drop my shoulder to the floor. So I've got this position here, so I'm going to take this away and I'm going to start working this pressure. Now what this does, with your stage 1, your foot is always in that plane. As soon as I take my elbow away and drop my shoulder, it turns the foot this way. So it's kind of almost like a toe hold thrown in there as well. Okay. Now the stage 3 is just one step further. And what you're going to do from there, you're just going to work this elbow away, shoulder down, but you're looking to go face down on this. So from here, everything's in nice and tight. So this will be away here, and I go face down, and you'll get a submission from there. As I say, I always go through the stages to find how far I need to actually push my partner to get the submission. If you have somebody whose legs are fairly tight, doesn't have this massive ankle flexibility, if I start dropping into this, then the potential for injury is there. We don't want to injure anybody. Especially not when you're training. Competition, they say, is a different thing, but if you injure someone on a purpose, you're still a dick, whether you're training or competing, as far as I'm concerned. So, we have this pressure here. I punish this through, Sambo style, which is actually my favourite, making the fist, making sure the forearm bone is right under the Achilles. Grip inside, extra pressure here, look up and out the top of your head. This way. Don't forget as well, if you're in a position here where you're ragging on this and it might not be working for you, other toes under your armpit, just always worth a little check. So if I start ragging this on here now, it's difficult for me to bring my arm and my shoulder back into the game, okay? When I'm here, I need to, before that final pressure, make sure I've caught the toes in the armpit. Stage 1, not happening. Stage 2, still not happening. Okay, in Helen's situation here. Face down, twist, and there's your finish. So the 3 stages that you need. And I can't emphasize enough not to just start dropping into the face down leg locks. Okay, the injury is just there waiting to happen. Always think about the person you're training with. Stage 1 first. If you need to stage 2, then if you need to stage 3. Okay, in that order please.